reaching you live from our headquarters in Lagos, in Nigeria. If you just joined in, this is still Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. Now to our main conversation for today. Former Governor Nasir El-Rufai has sued the Kaduna State House of Assembly over claims that his administration embezzled 432 billion naira and left the state with significant debt obligations. The former governor on Wednesday filed a fundamental rights enforcement case against the Kaduna State House of Assembly at the Federal High Court in Kaduna. El-Rufai, who appeared in person to file the lawsuit, alleged that the committee denied him a fair hearing, which was contained in a statement by the former governor's media aide, Muyiwa Adekeye, and posted on his X handle on Wednesday. El-Rufai also asked the court to declare that by the provisions of Section 36 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, the report of the ad hoc committee on investigation of loans, financial transactions, contractual liabilities, and other related matters of the government of Kaduna State from 29 May 2015 to 29 May 2023 as ratified by the Kaduna State House of Assembly is unconstitutional. In addition, null and void because it violated his right to fair hearing as guaranteed under the Constitution. With these accusations and counters, where do we go from here? Let's have the conversation. Still with me in the studios to do justice to this very important topic is Barrister Vance Ofeli and Cyril Abaku. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging in. And also joining us right about now is Emeka Madunagu, a journalist and a public affairs commentator. Good morning to you.
Morning.
And welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so gentlemen, there we have it. It's a developing story, Kaduna State and El-Rufai. But I would love us to take a look at Article 7 and 25 of the Banjul Charter, which of course is the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. And it talks about right to fair trial. Do you think that El-Rufai was not allowed given a fair trial? Let me start with you, Barrister Vance Ofeli.
El-Rufai have never been subjected to trial. What the committee did was investigation. And they said investigation. What he's trying to say is that he was not given fair hearing in the investigation before they came up with their resolution as to the fact that he should be tried and same being ratified by the State House of Assembly. Because when the State House of Assembly ratifies a report, it means the people of Kaduna State have ratified the report. So now he's filing for a fundamental right enforcement that his right under Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution that has to do with fair hearing. The court should declare the resolution of the investigative panel null and void. Now, the truth is that whether there was an investigation or not, whether there was a panel or not, whether the panel had a report or not, El-Rufai is being accused. Okay? Perhaps the Kaduna State government did they did their homework. Otherwise, in some other places, you just write a petition to the EFCC. EFCC will come and arrest. There will be no report. There will be no investigative, whatever, except the investigation of the EFCC itself. And then the statement of the petition and the statement of the defendant. Okay, assume the matter has gone to court. So let's assume but not consider that today the court sits and declare that report null and void, like he's praying the court to do. Does this stop the state from prosecuting him?
So
it doesn't stop anything.
Really?
Yes, it doesn't stop anything.
So the state has no right to listen to what the court has to say if that happens.
You don't understand what I'm saying. If the court, let's say the case commences now, fundamental right enforcement, one of his prayers is that the court should declare the outcome of that panel null and void. You understand? Now, if the court declares it null and void, does it stop the state from prosecuting El-Rufai? It doesn't stop the state from prosecuting him. Criminal allegations can only be resolved in a court of law. So this panel they set up to investigate and came out with the report is to strengthen their case during prosecution. Was supposed to strengthen their case during prosecution, and that to have a resolution that the State of Assembly have decided by virtue of the evidence it has before it to prosecute him. So if a court now comes and say, you know what, because you did not invite him into the investigation, or you not call him to put questions at him, or you not invite him to verify what it is, therefore this document by section 336 is hereby declared null and void. So everybody goes on. The next day, the state writes a petition to EFCC or to the IGP. El-Rufai will be arrested. He doesn't have immunity. And then the state will prosecute him. So this one, I don't get it. At the end of the day, what you are doing is not going to stop anything. What he wants to do is to take this matter to court. And then he will also put a prayer there that since the matter is in court, okay, he should not be arrested or prosecuted until the termination of his fundamental rights. They will start to buy time. That's what he's doing. Then they will buy that time to a point where politics will set in for 2026, and they will resolve it with politics. That's what he's doing. That's all.
All right, so with this mathematics, do you think it's feasible to have a National El-Rufai walk scot-free?
It's condemning. It's sad that the judiciary has allowed itself to be drawn into the shenanigans of despicable politics in Nigeria. It's sad. The judiciary ought to, keep itself away from a lot of these things. Because one, there's separation of powers. But you know what politicians today are perfected? They are perfected the act of abusing the rights of people, but going to see the enforcement of their own rights. And then using the power of the judiciary to prevent the executive and the legislature from carrying out their legitimate functions. Which is a breach. It's an abuse of the constitution. Because somebody rushing to the court, yes, with due respect to the court, is within the purview of the court to decide whether somebody is guilty or not. But the other thing is that I remember just a few weeks ago, the Vice President Kashim Shettima, and then the MD of the Northeast Development Commission, actually got a lawyer to write to the IG to arrest and investigate two whistleblowers for calling for a probe into how the finances of the commission were spent. Of course, I appeared on a TV program. And I said it was shameful that the Vice President would lend himself to such a thing. If you're a public official and you're accused of something, whether you are sitting or previous, you should have the records.
Yeah.
You should be proud enough to say, listen, my integrity remains unassailable, unimpeachable. Anybody investigate me.
That's if all things being equal.
No, I'm stating it the way it should be. Or even if things are not equal. The point is this: there is a point of equality when forces collide. There is a point, that they reach, and equality, is achieved and sustained, no matter what. So now you should be able to say my integrity is unassailable. Investigate me. I have my facts, and that's all. But where you now go to the court to enforce your fundamental right. I'm not a lawyer, but the point is this: enforcing your fundamental right doesn't mean then that you should not be investigated. That's a question I want to put to members of the bar and the bench. Just a rhetorical question, which I hope in continuing conversations will be dealt with. Because if you say, is it your fundamental right to just live the way you like? Is it your fundamental right to, for instance, drive your car the way you like? You don't stop at the traffic light. You don't obey a traffic warning. You can defecate anywhere. You can do anything. Because when we talk about these rights, what sort of rights should we be pursuing? So when it comes to this amount, 400 something billion naira, Let me tell you, multiply that in tens, you already get into almost half of Nigeria's debt.
Yes, no.
Nigeria is about 100 trillion naira.
Mm-hmm.
By the time 400 something billion times 10, that's 4 trillion. Times another 10, that's 400 trillion. That's even more than Nigeria's debt. What are we talking about? If such money, which of course it has, disappears in 10 states, you're already talking about how many 4 trillion. Disappears in another 10 states. How much is that?
That is why we're here.
So the point is that, please, the Kaduna State government should go ahead. The House of Assembly should go ahead, but nothing illegal should be done.
All right.
That's where I stand.
All right. So, Cyril, it's do you think it's fair to say that Nasir El-Rufai is having a taste of his own medicine? You know, knowing who Nasir El-Rufai is. In the last 8 years, we've seen what he has done to the southern part of Kaduna State. We've seen what he has done to even, lots of things, demolitions here and there, and standing out and saying, Alpha and the Omega of the state. So is it fair to say he's having a taste of his own medicine?
There are those who would say that whatever happens to El-Rufai, he deserves it. And there are those who would say that whatever is happening now is not even up to a scratch of what he did to others. But the matter on the table, when a Nigerian politician goes to court, you need to ask why exactly is he going to court. So let's follow the trend, because I, for one, I look at politics from a very practical point of view. It was after El-Rufai had gone to say that President was paying subsidy in Maiduguri, that all of a sudden this whole matter of corruption came up. It was House of Assembly. They investigated. I don't think he was invited, but those who sat with him were invited. Commissioners and people were all invited. Yeah. They came to testify. Okay. At the end, the report of the committee came. This report didn't come out yesterday. It came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? And El-Rufai spokesperson wrote a very beautiful statement condemning the report of the panel. The next thing El-Rufai did was to visit Buhari. Then Sheikh Osani, a senator from Kaduna, who became El-Rufai's nemesis, now said that all of these visits by El-Rufai, Atiku, Alimodo Sheriff, were all visits to Dara to oust Tinubu in 2027. In all of this, El-Rufai didn't have enough. It appeared he had not created enough bargaining chips. The next thing we see now is that he's going to court. The court thing seems to be coming as an afterthought or as a deferred card in the on the
last resort.
Yes, on the tech. Now he has gone to court. But like Barrister said, the report is only so far as a report. If the government says that there are grounds to prosecute him, they don't need the report to prosecute him. They can still file any charge. They can use EFC. Because in the case he took to court, he dragged the attorney of the state and the House of Assembly to court. At least those two people are defendants in the suit. So I'm looking at it both from a political point of view and from a legal point of view. A lot of times, only the case of not Solomon La, Joshua Darie, and Joe Lenyame wound up as convictions, and after a long and drawn out but largely we've seen that by track record these sort of cases really don't go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere.
It's in the middle of the road that they reach a compromise somewhere.
Political.
Exactly. Are you aware that the current governor of Kaduna State is the political brain, is the political protege of very close right hand friend to El-Rufai?
Exactly.
And that it was he as senator in Abuja. Because if you want to take a loan from anybody outside of your country as state governor, your senator from the state must endorse. Obasani was there endorsing all those loans. They are family friends. El-Rufai shouldn't look up to Obasani as a mentor. That much they've come out to say. The one in the House of Assembly went as far as saying that he couldn't pick a dog in the fight because Rufai was his father and Sani was his mentor. So we need to ask ourselves, what is really going on beneath the surface that we are not seeing? But we need to see what goes on in the middle of the road. At what point will they come to say, okay, let us judge instead of war. And that's their okay.
All right, so you talked about ousting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu possibly 2027, and I do not know if that is true or not, but just like you did say, and I'd love to ask
it's
you.
Not him that says it.
Yes,
it's
Shehu Sani. You know,
You
of course,
reported-
yes, you reported what Shehu Sani
yes,
has said.
yes.
You know, so in as much as that is the case, I would love us to talk about this from the political angle that you did talk about, and the question is to you. We've seen governors who have had a very smooth relationship with their godsons and all. Of course, it's not the case with the case of River State, now Kaduna State, and so many, and Benue State, and so on and so forth. So the question is, if the governors that aren't having situations with their godsons, do you think corruption is missing in that system and appearing in a system where we have feud between governors and their godsons?
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so.
So legally, how do you think corruption cases where the land is smooth can be unearthed, knowing that, of course, we won't say they are not in existence?
Well, it states where you have godfathers and godson in seeming amicable relationship, it's not the absence of corruption. I think sometimes it's just that either the outgoing governor had so play his game so well that the incoming one is able to absorb all the malfeasance or whatever has happened without in the view that he too is going to leave a lot of liability for the one coming back. Not all of them are complaining. Okay, we've seen. I mean, a governor like governor of my state. Okay, before he got into office, the state was plundered dry. We had a debt of a huge debt before he got in.
So when you say your state, specifically Delta,
The Delta state, I'm talking. I used to talk at the corner
because it's very important that our audience get to know.
People are pushing your governor to
Yeah.
take on.
There'll be nudges now because the truth is that if at hand now, whatever comes from the federal, whatever comes from IGR, half of it is because Okowa plundered the state to support Buhari.
Allegedly.
You understand? Atiku, sorry, to you can say allegedly. I'm just telling you, he did that, and the state was almost grounded before the present governor came in. So people are nudging him to do that, but it's up to him to decide whether this thing Fubara and his own thing are having, whether it's suitable enough for Delta State, or some other states. We have Akwa Ibom, where the current governor sing the praise of the previous. You understand? Are you going to tell me that there is no corruption? Was it not in that state we have an ecumenical center, what they call that church, that caved in?
Billion.
Yes, people's public fund that we use and all that. Does that not qualify for probe or something like that? But you see, some governors don't want to go that way, because at the end of the day, it also has its own disadvantage as much as it has its own advantage. And the bigger picture is that the elite, they are one family, one big family, the elite. So you see, it
Happy
is
family.
yes, it is a poor. It is a poor that do a lot of. Yesterday, 2 days ago, was Davido's wedding. Now, the elites that went, we saw all of them across board. Yes, across board. The likes of the owner of UBA, the investors. Well, people were there. One happy family. And you could see the cohesion amongst them. And after that, they left. Today, do you know the people dragging each other about that? The poor. Very dark man dragging Yabojo dragging very dark man. The poor. So, the rich man's wealth is a strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. It's so captured in scripture. They will be the one that will have all this noise, writing blogs and all that. The very elites, they've come back. Davido himself have traveled out yesterday, out of the country with the wife. So this is the testament of the poor. In this particular case, where you have El-Rufai being drawn this way, is a good thing, because this same El-Rufai, when Buhari was violating court order all over the place, supported Buhari all through. All through. There were allegations that the Southern Kaduna issue, when he said he was going to give them money for them to stop attacking, there are a lot of allegations of giving money to insurgencies and all. So he said it himself. You understand? Those ones, I haven't thought maybe that is the area where it was supposed to be probed. Not knowing that economically, contract-wise and all that, he has done a lot of damage, at least from the report we have seen. You see this fundamental right enforcement, I'll call on the state not to be deterred. Okay? If they want to prosecute, fundamental right enforcement is a civil case. It's civil. You want to get a restraining order, or you want to get an order to quash the report that indicts you, does not mean you're not prosecuted. That's just the truth.
Okay. Now, what I don't understand, if you ask me, is what the function of the watchdog, EFCC, is in this matter. Let's take a look at the case of Yahaya Bello, Kogi State. The current governor need not inform the EFCC to do what it needed to do. And the EFCC went on a hunt of Yahaya Bello. So don't you think it's equally okay for the EFCC to equally do the same for El-Rufai without necessarily waiting for the Kaduna State government to do the needful? Emeka?
You see, the law is the law. The law doesn't need political prompting from political actors for the right things to be done. But the sad thing is that we don't have systems. We don't have a system that operates as the day breaks. A system that takes on issues as they arise. We don't have such a system. So the President Tinubu has to order the security chiefs to go and arrest people. All of these things. We don't make a more clean over system. People go to work every morning, collect salary at the end of the month, and they are waiting to be told. So that's why politicians can get away with anything. Otherwise, if they had a system, a vibrant system, as you mess up, the state responds immediately. It's the state never sleeps, no? Because criminals don't sleep, so the state too is always waiting to catch them and give them the right treatment. So the thing is so clear. You don't need EFCC or ICPC or special fraud. There are enough agencies that can deal with corruption. One, I have recommended this thing, and I will say it again today. One very easy way of fighting corruption is through tax evasion, which is easy to prove. You know what? If you trace money, illicit funds, somebody's account, first of all, if he is a government official, he has denied government the due proceeds from that money. If that money was invested, because government paid it as salaries to civil servants, government will collect tax now. If government use it to do road, the contractors will pay withholding tax and other things.
Yeah.
So very good. Calculate withholding tax, 10%. Calculate VAT. Calculate every other income tax. Because what were you doing? What work were you doing? That you so good. When you remove that money, first of all, it's government money. Collect it, keep it aside. Charge that person with tax evasion. With that tax evasion, you can jail the person while you are dealing with other issues. Not like a Mayfield's case. You say you see this. You are not helping the country. First of all, remove the tax element from that. Let the state earn some money. Quick revenue from proceeds of illicit, illicit dealings. So, in all, there are enough agencies left and right that can be used to deal with corruption. And when you begin to use these smaller ways, everybody expects EFCC. There's ICPC now. There's a tax tribunal. There's also the investment tribunal. That if there are certain issues, which government can make up a case now, you stole money, but this money, for instance, wanted to use it to build a market, and you stop government investment. So you have deprived over 5,000 traders, their livelihood. So it has affected the investment plans of the state. You go in for it. In fact, the people they see on the road, if they hear they can kill you. So for your own safety, it's better you accept, you cooperate so that the people don't need you. When you do things like that, politicians will think that what they mean to, are they not inciting the people against you? And they have a justifiable case. So better, your friends will just tell you, look, okay, quietly go and settle with those people, so that you don't face unintended consequences. When politicians begin to think of unintended consequences, you will see all this corruption will drop.
All right, so looking at seeing corruption drop, and just like Emeka did say, inciting the people against our politicians. In December 29, 2023, the National People's Congress in China amended their criminal law, where they say the death penalty awaits any politician who indeed is fingered in any corruption case. And the question is, why is it so difficult for a country like Nigeria to not possibly copy and paste 100%, but at least take and make that than maybe going through the submission.
Well, so let me take one by one. First, I'm not so sure if personally I'm very much at home with death penalty. I don't think I am, because for me it's not corrective. Number two is the fact that in Nigeria's own case, even that the death penalty is in place, governors are not willing to sign it. So there are a lot of people who have been convicted, sentenced to death, but they are just there because governors are not willing to, after the judge has spoken, the governor has to sign the death warrant. They are not willing to sign. Number three is the fact that in my opinion, the thing Nigeria needs the most are monies that have been stolen.
So you are against what
I'm in support of it.
Okay.
If we caught you that you took money and kept it somewhere, the tax will take from you 45% instead of the normal amount, because it has to be punitive. Nigeria needs a lot of money to coming back into the system to be able to work. So we need all the money we can get. My priority will be, let's get the money from you, because in Nigeria, let me tell you this, you may send this amount of debt now for still 15 billion naira. You will lose another 100 billion that he stole somewhere that you may never know until after 2 or 3 years of investigation. So why kill him?
And sometimes cost benefit analysis.
Yes.
When EFCC is prosecuting, the government will spend close to that money to prosecute that case, from the Court of First Instance to the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court. Government would have spent possibly a huge chunk of that money stolen. And there's no offense such as corruption in Nigeria. The offense is theft. The penalty for theft is 7 years. Okay. Now most judges have discretion to either give 4, 2, 3, or how many years whatsoever, depending on the defendant's remorsefulness, his conduct during trial, and the rest of that. So what I think should happen is, once there's an indictment, and the court has given a judgment to that effect, the person should not only serve the term of penalty, but the person should do total restitution. Yes. Return the money and pay tax on it. Yes, exactly. You understand? And when you do plea bargain, return the full amount, and the person will still be convicted. Not when you do plea bargain, you now return 10% of this thing. So at the end of the day, all these things they are saying, Jolly, Yame, Dare, Ojis Okalo, if you know how much the federal government spent on prosecuting those 3 cases, judging by how much they stole allegedly, or that they stole actually because they were convicted, and at the end of the day, who is shortchanged? Is it the state or the so?
But Barrister, sorry, I'm asking this, but I think on the lighter mood, if El-Rufai was a client, what would be your best advice?
If El-Rufai was a client, yes. Well, El-Rufai as a person, he's a citizen of Nigeria.
Okay.
The law says the law says, hold on now. The law says every accused person
is innocent.
No. Has a right. Every accused person have a right to legal representation. Even when I refuse to take the case, it is government responsibility to give him a lawyer by all means, and that lawyer must defend him. Okay. And if I were in El-Rufai's case, we will have to look at that report whether it's true or not. Yes. So if I'm defending El-Rufai now, I'll go and tell the court that my client is guilty and should be convicted. Is that how it is done? My responsibility in court, hold on. My responsibility in court is not to exculpate El-Rufai, but it's to ask the prosecution to prove their case. That's my job. My job is not to go and cover what is not true, or make it a lie, or make what is true wrong. No. My job is, you said he stole this amount.
Prove your case.
Prove your case. It is the prosecution's right to prove his case based on the strength of his case and not on the weakness of the defendant's case. So if he did it, fine. Does the prosecution have the evidence to prove it? If they have it, he did it. Does the prosecution have the evidence to prove it? They don't have the evidence to prove it. That's
the law forbids.
When we're easy to condemn lawyers, I tell people one thing. Look, in all, government has power. Government has a responsibility to provide a lawyer to an accused person. Who pays? How does government pay the lawyer?
Yes.
It is the taxes that you and I pay. Don't forget. It doesn't matter whether government is going to use that money to get a lawyer to defend a criminal. You and I have an obligation to pay our taxes. So when we are quick to condemn lawyers, let us also remember that we have our own societal obligations, which now make us somehow, quote unquote, culpable.
Yeah, very true.
You know, even though culpable in the right sense.
Yes. Do you know that in Republic of Ireland, for example, in Dublin, when a person is accused of an offense, if he gets a private lawyer, a private law firm to defend the accused person, government pays that private lawyer.
From the taxes of the people.
It's government that paid the private lawyer. You will now write your voucher and go and submit to the government office. The government will now credit the account of the law firm on account of prosecuting someone that committed an offense against
the
government.
government.
Against the state.
That's very interesting.
So,
Well, that's just about the size of our package today. And if you do ask me, I would say 435 billion naira is a big chunk, and I just feel that those in authority and those responsible should do the needful, but most importantly to avert this in other situations coming up in the future. I'd love to say thank you to Emeka Madunago for being part of our show. Baste Vansofeli, thank you also for being part of our show. Cyril Abaku, as usual, thank you so very much for also making a time with us today. But most importantly, we'd love to say thank you to you for always giving us your time. We truly do appreciate it. But please visit our website for more information on these and many more at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igobike. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.